Episode 5 of the Queen's Gambit. Let's take it from here. This is a sad scene. Beth Harmon has been working with Harry Beltic. They've been living together, working together, preparing Beth for her next tournament. But in this scene, we can actually see that, well, Beltic is not going to be a professional chess player. He's going to go to a university to study engineering, I believe. And in this scene, Beltic said to Harmon that, "You helped me realize something." And Beltic says that I don't love chess, and that is okay. You know what? That is okay. Chess can be an important part of life, but it's not the only thing in life. Beltic realizes that because Harmon is just levels above him. So this was a nice, sad scene. It's like a happy, sad scene. Even though Beltic is not going to go on to be a pro chess player, he will go on to study engineering at university, exploring a new career path. Here we have Beth, Harmon and Benny Watts standing in front of the US Championships. It's round 1, and we're going to have a look at a couple of very quick tactics which saw both Benny and Beth win their first round games. Let's start with Benny Watts' game. In this position, his opponent played Queen D2, attacking the knight, but this loses immediately. The knight is attacking G2 H3 near the king, so now black just gets another piece near the king. Black is now threatening checkmate. And here the game is over. G3 played to stop checkmate, but now knight takes H3 check. Knight attacks king, but now the queen attacks the queen. So in the episode we see it being played out. King moves and then Benny took the guy's queen. And the guy resigned. This is Beth's first game of the US Championships. It's black to move and black is down the knight. Black has a king here defending this pawn, but white is attacking his pawn. So black now can play king a6, leaving this pawn unguarded. Now after king a6, white didn't go for this. Beth retreated the knight and played knight to b3. And then all of black's pawns dropped. The king has to move somewhere, doesn't matter, but then you take, and then you can take this pawn. I think this endgame is really, really clever because there is a subtlety, which is what I care about when I'm looking at these chess positions. After king a6, I think if you play knight takes c6, I wonder if this blows the game, and it does, amazing. It just goes to show how impressive the research is, because after knight takes c6, it does look like white has blown it. This is now a draw. b3 is such a problem. You have to take the pawn, and king b5, black actually saves this game, wow. Because both the knight and the pawn are being attacked. You cannot save both at the same time. So if you save the knight, the pawn drops. So here the best move is actually just to give yourself up. And with this endgame it is a draw, but Beth Harmon is accurate till the end, and so are the researchers in this show. Amazing. King a6, you play knight b3, game over. Wherever the king moves, you can take with the knight, take with the king as well. And then we're good. Because the king is just going to close in. We're going to go after this pawn. King e5, king e7, we can play knight d4, ganging up against this pawn, and king f6. White king controls d square. This king, it just has to give room. That's why this endgame is completely lost. The king now comes in. The king now comes in and the pawn drops, and then this pawn, we're just going to run it down the board. Let's say king here, king here, and now d6 push. Game over. Getting a queen. Here Beth is in the cafeteria about to play Benny Watts at speed chess. The best position, the best tactic is here. They played so many times and Benny ended up winning all the games. And they were playing for $5 per game. Here you can see both players deep in focus, and we're going to go through the final combination of this Blitz game now. Here Benny has white against Beth, and white is completely winning because black's king is not safe. White has 2 attackers at the moment, the knight and the rook, and sometimes that is all you need. A queen trade is seen in the episode. Queen takes queen, rook takes rook, and then Benny moves his rook all the way up the board, and that is checkmate. Sometimes all you need is 2 attackers. This is checkmate because black has his own pawn blocking his own king. A nice checkmating pattern with knight and rook. By the way, at the end, they met in the final. Benny had white, he played the English, and then Harmon ended up beating him in 30 moves. We did not get a chance to see this game in this episode. The scene just cuts and then both of them are in the bar, just discussing their game. This tends to happen in tournaments. After a game you might grab a drink together, just discuss the game and play through it. It can be a nice atmosphere after a game. So that's what happens, and then on to episode 6.